These pictures are from some of the participants in my bloom pouring classes that I offer every week in P&A Canal Walk in Cape Town. And these are all beginners. They have created the most beautiful bloom pours on canvas. And I'm sharing for motivation and encouragement, because if they can do it, then you can do it. Hello everyone, it's Bernadette Simply Be Art in Cape Town. Today's video, I'm working on a 30 by 40 centimeter canvas, and I am spreading out my pillow base. It's house paint, and I'm torching the air bubbles. And I do this, I start out my bloom pours every time the same way. Lay down a pillow base, spread it out evenly, and then pop the air bubbles with a butane gas torch. So now I'm going to lay down some color puddles, and I'm starting with a color called steel gray. This time I'm going to do 4 puddles for you. Blow them out, spread them out on the canvas, spin them out, and then create a beautiful background for the bigger bloom blowouts. So the next color I'm laying down is a lime green. It always gives some beautiful contrast to your backgrounds, and I use it in a lot of my pours. So mix up some lime green and also use it for your backgrounds. The next color is called sage. It's a muted green, beautiful, soft, brings a softness to the background as well. And I'm laying down about a half a teaspoon of sage on every color puddle. So thank you for joining me. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please hit the subscribe button and join my pouring family. On top of the puddles, I'm going to lay down the cell activator now. I've got pewter this time, and I'm going to top that off with the black cell activator as well. So the cell activators are made with Australian Floetrol and Amsterdam paints, acrylic paints, and we use it so that it gives us, on top of those color puddles, when you blow them out, it gives you some beautiful effects, some lacing and cells that you can't just get with any other mix. I get my Floetrol and my Amsterdam paints from an online store called artsavingsclub.co.za here in South Africa. So get yourself some, mix yourself some cell activator and get blooming, get started. This is so much fun to do. So I blow out those color puddles. I'm being tongue twisted today. So the color puddles are being blown out with my blow dryer. It's an 1800 watt, and it's a China made hair dryer. You don't have to get a fancy hair dryer for this. So blowing it out, creating just an abstract background for my puddles, which I'm preparing to lay down on top of the background. But first we have to spin it out, because there's a lot of paint on the canvas, and that paint needs to be spun off, and those puddles need to be leveled out and evened out. And it gives just a beautiful abstract background. I just love doing these backgrounds. It's my signature style for my bloom blowouts. Few more spins in both directions. My spinner is a 35 centimeter tempered glass spinner. I have purchased it from Crazy Store in South Africa, Crazy Store, or you will get it from takealot.com. So I'm filling up some of the bare canvas spaces. Sometimes when you spin out your canvas, there's not enough paint to go over the edges, and so I've just filled up some of those edges with the white paint. Now I'm going to start laying down the color puddles for the bloom blowouts, and I'm starting with a phthalo blue this time. On top of the phthalo blue is a violet. It's a deep violet, and then I'm going to top that violet off with some iridescent purple, My brands are from Iris, from Darla, from Bastion, and from Cellcraft. So I use paints that are accessible in South Africa, and I mix it up with my bloom pouring medium. If you're still wanting to see how I mix up my paints and how I mix up the bloom pouring medium, I'm going to put up a link for you now. Click on the link and you will be taken to the mixing video. So I've added some magenta as well as some orange and some pearl white, and then I've topped it off with the cell activator again, both the black and the pewter. And now I'm going to blow out that bloom, and this time I'm going for defined petals. So not an abstract blowout this time. I'm very careful of how I blow out because I want some nice rounded soft looking flower petals, and I get that with a gentle movement of my blow dryer. So I'm loving how those colors are showing up. The blue, the violets, the purple, as well as the magenta and the orange has made a great display on this bloom. The center, that pewter hasn't worked very well for me, so I'm adding a little bit of the black cell activator, and I'm using a silicone tubing, a piece of aquarium tubing, and I'm just blowing straight down into the black cell activator to bring up some of those cells in the center, and it's worked like magic. So as always, I define the petals. I use the back of a skewer stick and I draw lines from the outside towards the center, not getting too close to the middle of that bloom center, just making sure that I'm able to define the petals a little bit more. And it's fascinating to see how this bloom unfolds in front of your eyes. I'm giving it a little bit of a spin to spread it out on the canvas a bit more, but I've gone a little bit too far, or I've spun a little bit too hard, and I'm not very happy with the one edge. So I'm going to scrape off some of that paint, and you can also now see how I fix some of the blooms. When you're not happy, you go back and you fix it. So I've kept some of the pillow base in my plastic container, and I am going to add some of that plain white base to the edge of the canvas where I have scraped off some of that color that flowed over the edge. Now, I'm still going to have to create some definition with these bloom petals, and it is going to go over the edge, but it's still going to have somewhat of a defined split, so you're able to see the petals more definitely, and be able to count them. So I like having 6 petals in my blooms. I always try and aim for 6 petals, and I'm happy with that now. But the painting requires some extra work, so I'm going to lay down 2 more puddles on this canvas, and because I've spun off quite a bit of the paint already, I'm just adding a small puddle of the white base to lay down the colors on top of that small white puddle. So I'm doing another one, and I will lay down the same colors on both puddles. Then I'll blow it out again, and you will be able to see the final result. So I'm using the same kind of colors as before: the blues, the purples, the violet, the magenta, and a little bit of the orange, and then the pearl white on top, and cell activator as well. So the same process as for the bigger one. Continue to experiment with your colors and see what you get. I really love this technique. I love doing blooms on background blowouts. I think it adds just a lot of character to your bloom pause, and it's certainly something that people want to buy and they want to own, and they love it in their living spaces. So if you are learning, you can do this. If you follow my process, I've got tons of videos that you can follow to get color inspiration as well. I'm also happy to answer any questions, so leave your questions in the comment box below, and please enjoy the rest of my video. I'm just going to take the time to enhance these blooms. I will do a little bit of edging. You will see me pick up some color on the tip of my skewer stick, and I will enhance some of those edges of the blooms. It gives it a bit of a raised look, a 3D look, and I also love doing that. I call it my aftercare, caring for the blooms after I have blown it out and before I leave it to rest, to dry. I make sure that I spend about 45 minutes just taking care of my blooms. So I hope that I've inspired you with this video. I hope that you will enjoy the rest of it and keep watching. And please remember to subscribe to my channel. So take care, everyone. Until I see you on the next video. Bye.